Hey, I figured I'd make a quick video on how to maintain your keyboard. I've had this keyboard for quite a long time. If you get a nice keyboard, you kind of want to maintain it. I don't like the newer keyboards that got too much of a spongy feel. Probably the best keyboards I ever used was the original IBMs. It's kind of funny. They actually had a mechanical click when you pressed it. It just had just enough push in it to where when it would release, it'd make a little clicking sound. And when the cheap imports came in, they would actually put it in the BIOS and make the clicking sound through the speakers, because it was just such a good keyboard that it's just kind of weird that they did that, but they did. They'd have an option in your BIOS to say, do I want key click or not? And that was to give you that feel in a sound sense of one of the better keyboards ever made. But anyway, so this keyboard, I like it. It's nice. It doesn't. It's just a good all-around keyboard, and I want to maintain it. And it gets dirty over the years. So what I want to show you is, unfortunately, it's a PS2, but it works. And the way you do this is on the older keyboards that are the nicer ones. You actually have just some Phillips screws there, and I'm not going to sit there and make you watch it, but you just get yourself a screwdriver and take all your screws out. So on this particular model, I don't know, three, looks like it's got 9 screws holding it in. So I'm just going to pause the camera. What I'm going to do now is take out the screws, and then I'll pick it up after I get that out. Okay, at this point I took out all the screws. Give yourself a little Dixie cup, throw your screws in there. Pay attention to see if there's any screws that are different sizes. On mine, they all look to be the same size, and if they are, just note which ones, the bigger ones. So there we go. Ooh, it's pretty dirty. Let's probably turn this over like this. You gotta be careful, because all your keys can fall out depending on the model of the keyboard. In this case, mine are in this style, they stay in. These will all come out though. These are suction cups. Oh, I take that back. On this particular model, the suction cups are all permanently attached. Some models, the suction cups are not, and you'll have suction cups all over the place. It's been a long time since I did this. The way these work is, it's probably got a little carbon or something. I don't even know. Oh wait, see it better here. Anyways, when you press a key, it pushes on the suction cup, and it actually makes contact. I don't know why it's coming apart, but oh, okay. It's just usually they're a dark black, and on this one it's not. But when you press, it basically pushes contact material from here to here, and that's how it does the key connections. And the suction cups, they're like reversed. They're not used as suction cups. And they push that key back open there. So on this particular model, you got your cord, which I'm going to take apart here, and I'm going to leave it hooked on here, but it has, hope my screwdriver's not too big, looks like it is, just has some small Phillips screwdrivers, or screws there, and I'm going to take those out. And I see 3. Also, it's kind of interesting is the whole keyboard, other than switches, it's all controlled by this little circuit board, which is pretty much nothing but a little, it's probably like a, yeah, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. I can't read those numbers on there. But essentially it's just a chip controlling, probably a buffer like chip. That's pretty much your whole keyboard right here. So I'm going to take this off. I'm not going to play around with cleaning this or nothing, because it really doesn't need to be done. Set that aside. And now you can take your membrane off. And there's another one below that. And so I'm going to clean these and the keys and the keyboard. One thing to watch out for, well, we're not missing some of those. These little LEDs And I think I already might have lost one, but these will come out. So is it showing it? Oh, I don't know if you saw that. That was right there. I just pulled it out. It looks like I'm missing two, so I probably dropped them somewhere around here. I'm just going to throw these in my bucket because they don't need to be washed. And I'm going to pause the camera. Okay, I want to pick this up a little bit. So remember I said I was missing two LEDs. I found them. They're still stuck in the circuit board up here. And the one I took out would go right there. So, see, they just come right out. I'm not going to clean. I got 3 layers of plastic membranes here. I'm not going to clean them because I'm not having any issues with them. If you do want to clean them, you just get some rubbing alcohol and just put it on there. Just wipe it off with a lint-free cloth, and you're just cleaning any like sugars. Like if you spilled a pop on your keyboard, then you'd need to do that. I'll show you a better picture. So like this is just purely a membrane, has no electrical. It's just an inert component that separates the two sheets. This is what I'm talking about. Is like you could clean these little contact points if you had to, but I don't need to, so I'm just gonna set that aside. Oops, I almost dropped all my screws. And then your final layer here. And again, I don't have any problems with any of these, so I'm not even gonna mess with those. So basically, all I got left is the keyboard itself, and I'm just gonna wash this in the sink. And you just use some water, your favorite detergent, and also clean the bottom. Then I'll dry it and reassemble it. I'm liking the Blue Downy Ultra. Is a really good dishwasher soap you use to hand wash dishes with, and so I recommend using something like that. So I'm going to take these over to the sink and just basically clean them, and I'll pick it up. Okay, so I got the keyboard all cleaned off here. Again, you just go over to the sink, get a sponge and some dishwashing soap, and just scrub it down. And then I use we have a sprayer attachment for our sink, so I spray it down to help get all the soap out of it. And then you dry it down with a lint-free cloth. And then what you really want to do is let this dry out overnight, you know, depending on your humidity levels and stuff. So I'm just going to set these aside and let them dry out. And there's all my parts that I got to put back together, and I'll show you that as I put it back together. Excuse me, as I put it back together. But so that's it. I'm just going to let these dry out, and then I'll reassemble the keyboard. Alright, these have dried overnight, and I'm getting ready to reassemble them. And kind of first I focus on this guy, and you just look at it, and it's got some contact pads on the bottom, so you know it can't go down first because it's not on the bottom. And so here's a thin membrane, and you can see it's got a contacts that match those up. So you just put that there in the corner, and you see it's got 2 little posts here, and this will go right on those little posts. Oops, and I already forgot something. I can see the LED, they're supposed to go in here, so I need to put those in. And these are pretty simple. They just slide in. They have contacts on them. It's pretty straightforward. It's kind of tricky. I'm not sure if I should put these in here first or put them on the board first. Either way, it's going to be kind of tricky to line it up, because if I put them here first, that might be a better way. Let's see if that's going to line up. Yeah. So I'm actually going to put them inside the bottom board first. And this is fairly straightforward, except for now I gotta line up those LEDs. And hopefully this won't be too tricky. All good. So then I just gotta get those screws. This will be easier not. Screws look similar. There we go. And these don't put screws in plastic tight, just snug it down. You'll feel it bottom out, that's when to stop. This takes 3 screws. There, got that piece done. And next I'm gonna put this cord in. That's done. And I believe this is the next piece. It's not always easy to tell which is top and which is bottom, although as you can see there's an L cut out, and that's the only way it'll go in. And it's got some little plastic posts on there to help you line those up. And then same with this, it has an L shape, so it should line up. I need to look at why this looks a little different here. So I'm going to pause the video and investigate that, because this may have supposed to have been gone down before the main board, because it looks like there's some contact pads there. So I'm going to check that out and I'll get right back with you. Okay, focus in that corner a little bit. So this actually goes on the very last. So the way I'd put this together is put your LEDs in, put your back membrane on, put your middle one, and then this final one, I could tell it had some contact pads that'll go on the back of this here. So now we're back to lining this up. And there we go. Alright, then reattach this cord. And now pretty much have it assembled. We're going to put that last piece. Oh, here it is. And this can be tricky sometimes. We'll try it. Sometimes it's easier to do this upside down. Give it a shot, see what happens. Kind of the problem is you really need every one of those suction cups to end up inside every one of these holes, and there's like 102 holes. So the odds are kind of against you that they're all going to line up. And go through and just tap these, make sure they all feel like they're in there. It looks like I got it on the first try. So now kind of the tricky part, I remember now, is I gotta flip this over And if I put tension on the keys, it's going to want to separate. So if I get real lucky, I can get a couple starter screws in there. Let's see, I drive this one in. Once you get a couple screws in there, it should hold it together just fine. You probably can't see that. I just dropped these ones in the top. Oops. Get that in here a second. Hopefully, yeah, it looks like I have it in enough. So now all I'm going to do is put these final screws in there, and I'm not going to make you sit there and watch me do that. Alright, I got all the screws in, and here's the finished product. Pretty much looks like a new keyboard, and for all practical purposes it is. It's all I gotta do is plug it in, test it out, and I'm very confident it's gonna work. And the reason I like these older keyboards is, let's say somebody came in and knocked over some water or a pop on it, I have the ability to disassemble this, clean it, and reassemble it, and it'd be back in new condition. And the newer keyboards, like this black one up here, it might work, but the newer ones are just a pain. They're just not designed to be worked on at all. In fact, I would not be surprised. This one's got screws in it, but nowadays they're just making everything. They'd rather have you throw it away and buy another $30 keyboard or something. And it would be kind of a cool project, maybe to try to convert this to USB. But if I was going to do something like that, I think I'd try to get an old original IBM one. I like those ones a lot. The only problem is they don't have a lot of the newer function keys. Like those back when computers first came out, and the XT computers came out, and like they probably don't have a Windows key. Although they might have, I think they used to call those a meta key or something like that. But that's it. So if you want to get a nice keyboard and maintain it, you can do it.